Vegas, baby! The Mountain West Tournament is on. Player of the Year, Mason Falslev, and top seed Utah State want redemption and a boost for the big dance. But Dre Gibbs Lawhorn and UNLV have already beaten the Aggies twice. They're hunting number 3. Welcome to Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. From Thomas and Mack, it's a 1 against an 8. Chaos has already begun across the country. Multiple ones have gone down. It's Utah State taking on UNLV. Chalk held on day 1 here in the desert, outside of the witching hour. That's when weirdness can happen. Boise State was bounced by San Jose State. Here it's the third matchup of the campaign between Utah State and UNLV. And welcome down to the floor alongside the former Gonzaga All-American and Dan Dickow. Evan Washburn will be with us in just a bit. My name's John Sadak and our CBS Sports crew. Utah State, the reigning tournament kings, the regular season champs. They've been the best in the Mountain West most of the year, but the team that had their number, UNLV.
Yeah, Utah State's been a step above everybody throughout the course of the year, except for those 2 games. The last one, about 10 days ago on this court, UNLV was absolutely dominant.
We do showcase 2 of the top stars in the Mountain West. The player of the year at Utah State's Mason Falslev, and the newcomer of the year and Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. But break down what they do. Our AT&T Fast Analysis, what do you see in each unit?
Both players are very efficient in what they do, but in different ways. Falslev is great in transition, but when you're in the half court, he does a tremendous job straight line driving, puts a ton of pressure on the defense. For UNLV, Gibbs Lawhorn, unbelievable at moving it without the basketball, using screens to create opportunities, and then he's really creative to create space. He's got a plethora of finishes off 2 feet, off 1 feet. He has been a dynamic scorer throughout conference play.
UNLV has not been to the semifinals in a dozen years. They try to make it 3 for 3 against the best in the Mountain West. Utah State looks to bow out with another tournament crown and make it back-to-back. The Aggies have traveled well. The students are here in full throat. We close in on tip as we take a look at the sidelines of Josh Pastner getting it ready for UNLV. He has thinned his rotation, a tight 7-man group. He thought he played too many men at the start of the year. Minutes have piled up a bit. Let's take a look at our Kubota starting lineups. Howie Fleming Jr. dropped 2 triple-doubles on the year, including the last matchup with Utah State. Utah State made a change, went with Zach Keller and Adlon Elamine at the 5 and 4 respectively. They wanted more size. Jared Calhoun believes that has made them better. He was christened the Mountain West Coach of the Year, has led the Aggies to their 2nd ever outright regular season title, but they fell twice to UNLV. For more, let's go to Evan Washburn.
Yeah, John, you touched on it earlier. The rare bad matchup for Utah State this season, UNLV. 2 losses by a combined 37 points, including that 27-point blowout on this floor about 10 days ago. And talking to Josh Pastner about it, what's the secret, we asked him. He said, look, there's no real secret. He feels like their size, their athleticism has given them an advantage at times against the Aggies, but really it comes down to, fellas, avoiding turnovers, specifically live ball turnovers. Utah State feasts off those, and they have to keep that in check in this one if they want to pull off what would be win number 3 against Utah State.
Appreciate that, Evan. Mason Falslev champions it for Utah State, led the Mountain West in steals on the regular year.
Yeah, Utah State defensively will get out in the passing lanes. Last year they played a ton of zone. This year they tend to go a little bit more 50-50 man and matchup zone principles. But keep an eye on the turnover battle, because as Evan mentioned, that can be key for UNLV to allow them to get some easy buckets.
Zach Keller at 6'10" against the 6'9" Jacob Benarbi at the opening toss. Tommy Nunez in the air, and we're underway. Utah State has the basketball. You believe the length of UNLV was a factor in the 2 matchups?
Without a doubt. They've got tremendous length outside of probably Gibbs Lawhorn. at the top of the Mountain West in regards to that category.
Mason Falslev calling for a runner. Keller comes to him, top of the arc. End-line drive denied on a double. Kick, catch, and shoot. Keller for three. Short, tipped out of bounds. UNLV ball.
Utah State, one of the best, not just in the Mountain West, but in the country as far as field goal percentage. Whenever they've shot 50% or better from the field, they're undefeated this year, 17-0.
Gives Lawhorn the flick. Kamani Hamilton, their hero, in their tight win against Wyoming yesterday. Walter Brown holding the pivot. 12 to shoot. Ball sticking a bit. Gives Lawhorn. 8 to shoot. Isolated. Benarby rejected away. The swat by the length of Keller. And Keller knocks it out of bounds. 3 on the timer. What do you do here with this kind of an entry, 3 seconds?
Oh, it's deep in that corner as well. Expect Gibbs Lawhorn some type of action, maybe to get a look at the three-point line, but also a slip to the rim with the length of UNLV.
Fleming calls the break. Gibbs Lawhorn, catch and shoot. Off the heel, no. Rebounded by UNLV, they maintain. On the drive, Hamilton. Twisting elbow, Jay on the way is good.
Picking up where he left off in that last matchup against Utah State, where he had 24 points alongside 7 rebounds.
Falslev fired down low. Elamine, end line, out of bounds. Josh Pastner incredibly animated as he works the sidelines.
He was animated in post-game interviews last night. Had some clips that were going viral, bringing the energy back to UNLV basketball.
Oh, what anticipation there by Falslev.
That maybe is where Falslev is at his best, is drawing the defense into feeling they're comfortable and then getting in that passing lane, creating opportunities in transition.
Gibbs Lawhorn, top scorer in the Mountain West, shined even brighter in league play. Off the fake, slams on the brakes, tip pass taken away, it's Falslev. Funnel forward, one-on-one, tipped, oh, what effort, sprawling on the ground, Walter Brown.
What an effort, you mentioned it. The New Zealand native there looked as if he's playing Aussie rules football. A complete dive out for that ball, knock it out of bounds. That's the type of effort that UNLV needs tonight to continue this run in the Mountain West tournament.
Little oi, oi, oi. MJ Collins Jr., top scorer for Utah State, held in firm check by UNLV in the year. Misses his first. Tip ball, they maintain. Reset, Falslev on high. Got it!
Both teams able to take advantage of three-point attempts after corralling offensive rebounds. That time, Falslev for Utah State.
Can almost feel that each team just drew in a breath and said, let's go.
Well, there's so much emotion running through Utah State having lost to this team the previous 2 matchups, but also playing for seeding in the NCAA tournament, while UNLV finally playing up to their capabilities over the last couple weeks.
Gibbs Lawhorn 2 on the timer. Hamilton has to hoist. He passes. Shot clock violation.
Have to understand shot clock winding down. Even if it's a bad shot, you got to get one up on the rim. Another look at Utah State getting an extra possession, leading to a straightaway 3 from Falslev.
Drake Allen, perhaps an underrated point guard, feels Falslev, and he floats it home.
We touched on Falslev in the fast analysis open. He can knock down the threes, but that was an example of a straight line drive. He sees an angle, a crease, he attacks it.
Strong defender with length, Tyron Jones at the table to sub. UNLV only played 7 yesterday. Hamilton on the spin. 6th man of the year to the table, Carson Templin. Shield as the basket able to go. Benarby getting help.
But again, Walter Brown Jr., 2nd offensive rebound, that time resulting in a tip-in.
Allen given space, ball screen. Falslev grinding down the heart of the lane, rejected. Oh, Benarby with the body control, and he tried to float it forward. Allen tip, picked up by Benarby. Euro right-handed that block.
Nothing has been clean yet this far for either team on the offensive end of the floor. But if you're UNLV, you've got to like the energy and the passion you're playing with early.
An unsung hero for Utah State per his head coach Jared Calhoun. Drake Allen running point. Collins trying to find a rhythm, coughs it up down the drain of the lane, taken away by UNLV. And they call timeout. That felt unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. You don't want to call a timeout when you dive on the floor for a loose ball early in this game. You got a media timeout coming up early anyways.
A timeout burned, a one-point game. These teams feeling each other out.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kubota, your compact equipment provider. By AT&T, connecting changes everything. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Daytime in Vegas, not too far from the Strip. UNLV, Utah State, a one-point game. Aggies have become tournament regulars. They've played in 3 straight, 5 of the last 6. CBS Sports Bracketology has them as an 8 seed.
That's what makes this Mountain West tournament so important. If you can get it off that 8 seed, so you potentially don't have to play a 1 this year, you want to take advantage. I could see them moving up to a 7 or even a 6 if they're able to win this Mountain West tournament.
They've won 25 games in 4 straight years. Also swept Boise State, swept New Mexico, which will play later today as part of quarterfinal action. It's Rebel ball after a somewhat surprising timeout called by Kamani Hamilton. So here come the Rebels. We were talking some with Breakdown. It feels like the energy has been there for UNLV defensively and offensively. What are you seeing?
They just don't have great ball movement, player movement right now. They've been up against the shot clock a number of times. Sometimes when you play against a team like Utah State that goes a lot of zone, it can put a stop sign in front of you and make you overthink things.
Just now running offense in earnest, 5 of a timer. And a forced shot under heavy duress. Hits iron, out of bounds. It's Utah State ball.
But that's at least the 3rd time now in the first 4.5 minutes. They have been up against the shot clock. You got to put the responsibility of the point guard, Gibbs Lawhorn. I know he's a scorer, but get the ball across half court, get into offense much sooner. You can't play against the shot clock time and time again.
3 benchmen are in now for Utah State, including the first minutes for Tucker Anderson, whose best game last year came against UNLV. Colby King among the bench entrants, and Carson Templin, 6th man of the year, carving space. He's trying to seal down there. And a kickball, no kickball, play on. It's UNLV. Gibbs Lawhorn has not scored since the first half of yesterday's game against Wyoming.
But he can get going in a hurry. 8 times this year, 30 points or more.
Taken away by the Aggies, 3-on-1, alley-oop, throw it down! MJ Collins Jr.'s first bucket of the ball game.
And they needed that. They have struggled getting good looks here early on, outside of offensive second chance opportunities.
Hamilton, the flip, and Arby trying to rake through against Templin. Dribble if he wants. A forced feed, tipped and taken away. Templin decked near midcourt. They come out to wipe the floor mid-play. A+ towel game, 3-ball, a miss for Collins.
It was a great effort by the ball boy underneath the hoop to get to half court and back.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Another tip ball, Gibbs Lawhorn maintains. Asking for it, Fleming loads up, got it!
Keep an eye on Howie Fleming Jr. The last matchup, a triple-double. He could be the X factor tonight. Gibbs Lawhorn gets so much of the attention. Got to find someone to step up.
Since the 3-point shot was introduced, only 2 D1 teams have made a 3 in every game they've played. UNLV and Princeton. First for the Rebels today. Great ball movement. Templin, tough angle, miss. Fleming, 2 triple-doubles in a several-game span, less than 2 weeks during the year. Oh, Gibbs Lawhorn, aggressive drive. He blew by 2 men.
Not only did he blow by 2 guys, the creative footwork to avoid Templin at the rim.
Score, right?
Without a doubt, and you could put him in that category.
Oh, nice feed. Templin stayed with a cut. Allen fed him in stride.
Templin is a spark off the bench. Sixth man of the year. He's done a great job of improving his body over the course of his college career. 2 years ago, he wouldn't have been able to make that play.
Great pass. What a stop by Allen Whistle. That'll be Allen's first.
Another look at the creativity from Gibbs Lawhorn. The Euro step to avoid Templin, but Templin returns the favor. Screen roll, great catch, keeps the ball high, finish.
Brown, a 64% free throw shooter. Can you teach feel like that slight pause to allow his big to get closer?
Well, not necessarily. You can drill it, you can work on it so guys can start to see it, but real point guards innately have that ability to kind of skew the defense and get them out of position just enough to create an angle to deliver it.
That's the first foul of the game, by the way. UNLV, big nugget, 5th most fouls in America per game entering this tournament. It was a foul fest against Wyoming yesterday. Free throw missed, tip ball out of bounds, Aggie ball.
Well, a lot of that goes to the fact that, you know, Josh Pastner touched on it early in the year. He liked his depth, he shortened his rotation. Sometimes when you're thinking you've got enough guys to come in off the bench, guys don't change that mentality. They continue to play hard, get whistled for a number of fouls.
Josh Pastner animated. You see him hopping up and down, telling his players to get big. Have they gone zone here?
They have. Looks like a little 1-3-1. See how quickly Utah State can take advantage.
Utah State normally great from 3. False flip off the pine, off the up fake, floats it home. Templin just carved out space and denied 2 defenders.
Terrific shot fake, gets Jones on the flyby.
And better movement for UNLV. Jones on the stumble. Gibbs Lawhorn in a 1-point game. Jared Calhoun motioning, brings some pressure here. Hamilton as Jones rock up top. Fleming, end line, double comes off the fake. He draws another foul. I don't remember Josh Pastner being this animated at Memphis and Georgia Tech.
I don't either. It looks as if he's playing defense himself there. That's tremendous balance, emotion. You know, when he got the job last year, there were some people that were kind of curious as to why he wanted to get back into coaching, especially after how things went at Georgia Tech. But you could tell right away the passion that he had. He loves coaching. He wanted to get back in it. And that's just a tremendous example of what it means to him, possession by possession.
Now, while his Rebels are whistled for a lot of fouls, they take a lot of free throw attempts. As a team, they don't percentage-wise shoot it well. Fleming is one of the outliers. Let's go to Evan.
Yeah, Josh Pastner will want to let you know, guys, that he burned 700 calories already today on the bike. Big cycle fan, VO2 max, so the energy on the sideline is just a little dessert for the head coach.
Yeah, he wanted to get you on the bike. Did you join him today?
No, I saved that for tomorrow. They got to win for me to join him.
Loves the Tour de France. A spin cycle there for Falslip. Touch passes on the wing, 5 to shoot. Elijah Perryman off the iron. Templin fell down. Brief numbers for the Rebels if they push. Jones, aggressive take, and he gets fouled. You can feel the fire of the first-year head man. He's got a thin rotation and an in-shape team. Get him on the bikes, get him on the hill, get him down the floor. It's bracket week, presented by Kubota. Back in Vegas, UNLV by 3 moments ago. Our own Evan Washburn caught up with the Mountain West Coach of the Year, Jared Calhoun.
Well, Coach, that first game out of the gate is always tricky. How do you feel about the energy and execution you guys have brought?
Yeah, I thought defensively we're fine. We got to slow down, play out of our concepts offensively. We're getting good shots. Got to play off 2 feet, but it's a long game.
Where do they challenge you defensively?
I mean, they got positional size at every position. I mean, they're really their 2 through 5 is 6'5", 6'6", and above. So we got to get them in brushes. We got to move the ball.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
And they are the top scoring offense, the best shooting team in the Mountain West. What have you seen? What did you take from those words?
Oh, I think he's exactly right. When you play against a team like UNLV with that size and occasionally going zone, as they've shown a time or two, is you can't get worried about what they're doing and run a set. Many times you got to play out of concepts, get into great spacing, and then last thing is you have to be decisive.
Fleming on the break, the lob to Jones. Foul before the break to Colby King, his first. Hesitant dribble, Drake gives Lawhorn. Three ball is off, but a whistle came down on the baseline against Utah State.
That was due to the activity of Jones attacking the offensive glass. Utah State fans don't like it, but you got to keep Jones in particular off the glass. He seems to go every time.
Tucker Anderson with his first. Gives Lawhorn. Doubled. He's in a bit of trouble. Kick ball off of Utah State. The call. UNLV ball.
Another look at it here. Oh, that should have been. Yeah, that's correct. That was off of Utah State's leg.
And not a kick, so the timer was at 14. Jones bumped and then traveled. He anticipated a harder collapse from Gary Clark.
Watch the footwork. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good call from the baseline official.
Well, UNLV with as many turnovers, 5 as field goal makes. 7 points for the Aggies off of giveaways. Falslow slams on the brakes. Kick to Collins. No. Well, Utah State really struggled from 3 head-to-head against UNLV. And hot potato off the hands of Anderson, out of bounds.
Anderson's an interesting player. He's got great size, good feel for the game, can shoot it. Has struggled at times this year, but a good sign for Utah State is 15 in the last matchup against UNLV. The team as a whole struggled, but if they can get production from him in addition to Falslev and MJ Collins, you got to feel good about yourself.
Hamilton getting a rarer touch of late. Fleming, a facilitator. Isolated against Falslev. Mid-lane J and miss. Utah State would like to push, but a tip ball taken away. It's Hamilton to Jones. Darts to the rim. Stripped on the way up. Oh, the clean takeaway by Clark. Touch down the floor. Anderson loads. Transition threes and air ball. Batted into the hands of Allen. Elamine to the table to sub in. Utah State wants to go bigger. Allen, aggressive drive on Jones. Slams on the brakes. Kick onto the wing. Collins off the fake. Bumped hard. Went right into Walter Brown. This is the difference for Utah State against UNLV versus every other opponent.
It has to do a lot with the length, the activity of UNLV on the defensive end of the floor. The numbers are staggering versus the rest of the schedule and UNLV.
First foul against UNLV. So Collins at the line, just outside of the top 10 in the Mountain West, 82%. When he is money, Utah State wins at a higher rate. 20 or more for Collins, their top scorer. They're 13-0. Arguably, the opponent that baffled him the most was UNLV.
It's, again, we've touched on it a number of times now, but the size in particular of the wings, the length and then the strength for UNLV presents a big challenge. MJ Collins, 6'4", but a little slight of build.
He was a 7.5-point-a-game player at Vanderbilt. Was called a perfect fit for Utah State's system by his head coach. And this is their first real pressure.
They will occasionally go full court pressure, see if they can get an opportunity to trap. They've got one here.
Hamilton, after a dribble, calls a second timeout.
That's something to keep an eye on now. UNLV burning 2 early timeouts. Josh Pastner likes what he sees so far.
More bracket week action on CBS Sports Network tomorrow. Both Conference USA semifinals get underway at 12:30 Eastern. We'll find out who can get one step closer to the big dance. One of the big upsets in the country, the 1-seed Liberty. Richie McKay's Flames go down to Missouri State.
Disappointing for Coach McKay and Liberty. Made it a season ago. But how about Miami of Ohio as well? That is a story right there. Their undefeated season. Not that they were going to run all the way to the title game, but still.
Wide open, quick load. Isaac Williamson missed. Tip ball controlled by the Aggies. False lip. All the way up to his big. Alameen rejected on the dunk. Popped out of the iron.
Credit UNLV, though, not giving up, getting back in transition, contesting, forcing the missed dunk.
Fleming showing shake. He's got the true big. Double comes from false lip. Grant in the lane. Down low. Furious two-hand jam. Oh, what a load up for Tyron Jones.
Well, the cut from Jones after Hamilton gets to that middle to create a pressure release.
Utah State has not hit a bucket in 3.5 minutes. The best scoring offense in the Mountain West. Allen tumble, brief tie. Up top, Elamine for three. Got it!
That's how you respond after a missed dunk. Elamine, 31% on the year, makes about 1 a game. He has got tremendous upside for a freshman, 6'9", 7-foot wingspan.
Forges the first tie of the game. Gives Lawhorn, given space, misses a fairly open three. Utah State seems a little hesitant to run up the floor here. Collins wants it. Mid-lane, easy floater for Clark. First real rhythm offensively starting to emerge. Fleming surveys. Hamilton fed. False lip lying in wait. Hesitant three for Fleming. Off iron. High post rebound. Fleming. Up fake. Gets closer. No look. Gave it away. False lip behind the back. And then he draws the frustration foul on Isaac Williamson, his first.
One way you attack pressure is apply your own pressure. Tyron Jones, the great cut, the big-time finish.
Utah State by a deuce leads UNLV 18-16. Many on hand, a lot of energy in this building. A lot of students from Utah State made the trip. As we moments ago had Evan Washburn catch up with Josh Pastner.
Well, Coach, how do you address the turnovers in this huddle right now?
You know what? Both teams are turning it over, and while they turn it over, we haven't been able to convert. A couple of our layups, we've been like feathers. Against this team, you better be tough and hard-nosed. You have to play off of 2 feet and vertically and violently attack the rim. If you're a feather or be horizontal, it's not going to work itself out. But listen, they're really good. It's going to be a grind of a game. It's going to be back and forth. It's just one of those deals. We just got to settle in.
Josh, thanks.
Thanks.
The turnovers have certainly been a big part of the story. What have you seen?
I see that interview. I've never heard anything in the game of basketball being described as a feather. That was an all-timer right there from Josh Pastner. But to mention the turnovers like you touched on, Utah State an advantage, 9 points off those turnovers. UNLV has not been able to score a single point, even though they've been able to force 5 Utah State turnovers.
Feels like one of these teams is due to hit some threes. That's been a minor part of the game so far.
Utah State 1 of 7 in that category after shooting right around 36% on the season.
Collins, hand in his face, pops the contested three, got it.
I think they heard you over that huddle there, John. Inside out that time, get the defense to commit just enough to the dig down. Open three for Collins.
Biggest margin the game has seen. It's been a tight one early. Jones, backdoor, tries to slip in. False slip holding that back line.
Utah State now in the zone. A lot of switching man-to-man principles in this zone.
Low bounce pass, kick ball. Timer to 20. Let's take a look at our Reese's player profile. Mason Falslip, player of the year in the Mountain West. One of the top thieves in school history. He led the Mountain West in steals this year. Last year, he had the second best steals season in the history of Aggie basketball, almost 80.
He plays so hard, and that's one thing that sets him apart from a lot of guys. You wouldn't think that you would have to implore guys to play hard when there's only 30-some games on your schedule throughout the college season, but he embodies that.
Tough bucket for Walter Brown tumbling down. Utah State generally shares the ball so well. One of the top dimes teams in the country. We over me, the catchphrase for Jared Calhoun. Falslip screen, Perryman, wrap around, great pass, and Falslip, wow, that's offense.
Tremendous pass. Plays off of 2 feet, extends just enough to be able to get it around the hip of the defender. But a spectacular finish as well from Falslip with the defense conversion.
And UNLV now match some scores, subs at the table for both teams. Hamilton's been taken away largely, that ball knocked away.
You're starting to see a Utah State team that's settling into themselves. They were the sole title winner in the Mountain West regular season. They've had their issues with UNLV this year, but they're playing much more patient and with better spacing on the offensive end of the floor the last couple of minutes.
And echoing that, yes, they are the best team in this league on the year. 2 wrinkles, their 5 losses, the most ever by a regular season Mountain West champ, speaks to the depth of the league. And they have lost 3 straight road games. This is technically a neutral floor game, but this is UNLV's building. Brown for 3, responds.
But in regards to the Mountain West, if you haven't followed this league closely, this is one of the leagues that has some of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball. San Diego State, Utah State's own gym prevents a lot of teams from going on the road winning. Colorado State, on and on down the list. You win a road game, it almost feels like you're winning a game and a half in this league.
Collins catch and shoot, deep 3, no, Templin tip, but he gets hammered, brief tie-up, ball squirts to Gibbs Lawhorn. Man, it's physical. In the sweep, UNLV handed the Aggies their only home loss all year, 15 affairs. Fleming picks up the pound, Gibbs Lawhorn. Over Collins. Bad brick, 1 weak side by Foster.
Really struggling. 1 of 5, 0 of 4 from beyond the arc so far for Gibbs Lawhorn.
Perryman, strong pass, but Keller spun out of bounds. That's 6 giveaways for the Aggies.
Utah State putting so much emphasis on making things difficult for Gibbs Lawhorn. You mentioned 15 in the first half yesterday, 0 in the second. For a scorer like Gibbs Lawhorn, sometimes early in the game, if it's not going, create opportunities for others and then be ready when the ball comes back to you later in a possession or later in a game.
Emmanuel Steffen, a new big out there, wearing 34 in the left block. Strong pass to Fleming. Falslip smothers. Jones 4 to shoot. Jones 2 to shoot. Leaning in. Misses.
Good defense on the low block there from Templin.
Falslip. 5 out. Now the big cuts. Falslip loads. Got it. That's a tough dude.
He just plays with so much heart. You've seen him improve in every skill category over the course of his career. 5 of 6 from the field. He was kind of the guy who allowed Utah State to hang in there when they were struggling the first few minutes of the game.
He's got a dozen to lead the game. Only man in double figures. Trying to find the backdoor cutter. Out of bounds. 5 to shoot.
UNLV dodged a bullet there. Had Falslip been able to corral that loose ball, they would have had a wide open breakaway on the other end. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Had 15 in the first half against the Cowboys. The 2 that have come since have come in this affair. He also had a long stretch where he sat against Utah State, had foul concern the last time these teams clashed.
Gives Wyoming a lot of credit. They put together a heck of a second half of the Mountain West. They led that game, but UNLV down the stretch made the big plays to come away with the win here at Thomas and Mack yesterday.
Hamilton fighting with Templin down low. Hamilton only has 2 so far. Lob to Hamilton, 5 to shoot. Hamilton stepping back for 3. No. And Falslip gets rocked to the ground. Clutches at his head. I hope he's all right. It looked like his noggin hit the hardwood fiercely there.
It looked like his hip, his back, his head, everything. But UNLV, not good awareness with 5 on the baseline out of bounds entry. We're heading to break. Falslip has been the spark. for Utah State. We'll check on him when we come back.
Back and forth, fairly tight here in game one of quarterfinal action. Utah State's Mason Falslev has been the separating star of late.
Player of the year in the Mountain West. Let a big-time player get a step-in three to get started, and then it's off to the races, where he is an aggressive straight-line driver with the ability to finish in a number of different ways. He has been the difference maker early, allowing Utah State to get out to a lead.
For more on their star, let's go to Evan.
Yeah, guys, in that last play before the break where he took a pretty hard fall, indicative of his play style as Dan laid out there. And I spoke to him ahead of this tournament. He's been nursing a tailbone and knee soreness as you take a second look at this fall. And look, he said it's nothing serious. It's going to keep him from playing. It's soreness. He feels like adrenaline kind of takes over once he gets going. But remember, big-time high school football player. He plays with that reckless abandon. Makes you wonder, though, how does he hold up over the course of what could be a few days here in Vegas or next week in the NCAA tournament?
That's a great point, Evan. Thank you. So that soft escort from UNLV, Utah State showing a bit of its identity. 8 dimes on 10 buckets, and now a foul way away from the rim on Stephen. The Arizona transfers first.
What you've seen in the last 6-8 minutes or so is Utah State settling down. 6 early turnovers, but the last few minutes, they've been able to get into more of a flow on the offensive end of the floor.
They've hit 5 of their last 6 from the field. UNLV has not scored in almost 3 minutes. Collins lead for Falslev. Keller cuts. Falslev spins. In the feet of Keller, but he's hit and fouled. That'll be Emmanuel Stephan now with 2. As he subs away.
As physical as this game has been, John, it's hard to believe each team only 4 personal fouls with about 3.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Oh, Falslev wide open. That's a blob, right?
It is a blob. Baseline out of bounds. Terrific execution there for the Aggies.
Biggest margin the game has seen, and then UNLV coughs it up, and you can see the significant frustration for Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn.
It was a great back screen there from Keller to free up Mason Falslev, but Stephan on that guarding of the screener, you have to communicate out the screen, and you also have to react, bump the cutter, or switch if it's necessary.
Templin fed. Doesn't dupe his defender. Contested miss. Almost 3.5 minutes without a point for UNLV. As many giveaways as field goal makes. The double on Brown. Gibbs-Lawhorn, extra pass. Jones cut. Rolls off the iron. Templin tumbles. From his backside to chin and spin. 3-on-2 Falslev. No look. Allen reverse. Off the front lip. What effort by Falslev. Gibbs-Lawhorn 1-on-3.
He may be feeling it after that last ball, but he is not showing it.
There'll be a lot of ice. Elbow J on the way is short. Allen tip to Collins. Falslev on the trail. Collins floats it home.
Big time finish there to elude the contact and get it up high off the glass.
Wouldn't this be a spot UNLV might want to call timeout had they not burned 2?
You're exactly right. Having burned those 2, you lose the ability to really kind of slow any type of momentum by calling a timeout.
They get aided here on the foul. That'll be Templin coming up. AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, rest of the crew will get you caught up on all the latest news, scores, and highlights in college basketball. Head your way on AT&T at the half. What do you want to see here?
Well, I think for UNLV, you've gotten a couple opportunities at the rim, in particular the last possession, Jones right at the front of the rim. You're getting good shots when you've been able to get a shot. The pressure from Utah State has forced a number of turnovers here, allowing them to get out in transition.
Foul attempt in his second. You'd assume he's sitting rest of the way. Lob entry, dangerous, tipped backcourt off of Utah State. Do they challenge? Zach Keller twirled the index finger. They're debating it.
Well, that's an example of Jones. You know the inbounders running up against that 5-second clock.
They're going to challenge, and they're convinced they're going to win this.
We saw, they have up until either a timeout is called or the ball is inbounded. Jared Calhoun relying on his assistants there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the challenge.
Utah State trailed at 16-13. Since then, a 17-5 run, now believing they should have possession. This was called off of Utah State as rebel ball, but Utah State is challenged. What do you see?
Well, I think this is a better angle to get a true look at it. Yeah, that's off Jones. But that goes to execution on that baseline out of bounds.
After review, the call is reversed. Challenge is upheld.
The call is reversed.
The Utah State's ball in the front court. 20 seconds on the shot clock. They
Utah
retain their
State
challenge
ball.
for the rest of the game.
So the Aggies own their largest lead of the game. It's been a slow drip effect that's added up to a 7-0 surge for Jared Calhoun.
Well, it's the little things, though, for UNLV. Turnovers, missing shots at the rim. That baseline out of bounds. Jones has to hold off his defender, Keller, to be able to catch that basketball.
Isaac Williamson among the subs for UNLV. It feels like these could be some back-breaking possessions with halftime looming. Falslip off the up fake. Collins, 9 to shoot. Falslip, deep three, got it! Oh, he was nearly at the logo.
He is showing why he's the player of the year here in this first half.
Double digits for the 1 seed, looking for redemption against the thorn in their side. Gibbs Lawhorn, jump stop. Rolls away, put home, and that snaps a nearly 5-minute scoreless drought for UNLV.
Now if you're UNLV, got to know you don't get it back in one possession. Get a stop, a bucket, and another stop, and you'll be feeling good about yourselves going into the half.
8 of 11 for the field, the Aggies, and a 20-5 run on the cut foul. Keller had to be grabbed as he dove to the rim.
Terrific slip off that screen from Keller. Utah State does such a good job of moving without the basketball, screening at different angles. Another look at that false slip 3 from straight away. He has got it going today. 15 points. Excuse me, 17.
This time they denied false slip left block. Catches here midcourt. Backcourt violation. That last foul to Hamilton is first. 1 minute, 1 second. What's possible as you're trying to manage time and just pure getting points?
Well, again, for UNLV right here, you got to get a good possession, get a good shot. Obviously, you want to make it, but you want to have a good feeling going in the half with your last offensive possession, and then you got to make sure you get back matched up in transition. You don't want to give up an easy bucket going into the half.
Bit of an oddity on their home floor. UNLV is shooting into the students of Utah State. And a foul. 6 of the last 7 whistles had gone against the Rebels. This one goes against the Aggies. That'll be Keller with his first.
Keep an eye on this baseline out of bounds. UNLV has struggled even inbounding it here on a number of occasions.
6 fouls each team. It's bonus rest of the way. Brown. Dangerous lob. Hamilton. Stepping into it, deep 3. Williamson short. Jones briefly had it. Hot potato to Collins.
Didn't make the shot, but you had a 2-for-1 opportunity based on the clock now if you're UNLV.
About an 11-second differential for Utah State. They have been smooth offensively in these last few minutes. Allen a false slip, took close. Gibbs Lawhorn giving up size on the bounce down low, off the up fake. Rattle it in, Zach Keller. One hand whip to Jones in the corner. And he gets bumped en route to the rim. That'll be 2 on Keller.
Good foul there, though. Had a foul to give in that situation. Actually, excuse me, sorry. I looked at the wrong score sheet from the previous timeout. When we return, UNLV will be at the free throw line.
Utah State called the use it or lose it, 35-23, the large Aggie lead. A foul as we went away. That's 2 on Keller. Bonus has arrived, but the man who will glide to the stripe Tyron Jones, a 50% free throw shooter. He takes a ton, top 5 in the Mountain West in free throw attempts, but he's part of the reason the Rebels as a team have not shot very well.
Well, he's got that lack of strength. He's got length, but as far as finishing through contact, he struggles at times. We've seen that here at least on 2 occasions in the first half. 2 big free throws, or excuse me, big one-on-one coming up for Tyron Jones.
Front end is a miss. Rebound, false slip. Collins to the rack. Bucket. It's a 14-2 run. Behemoth the horn. All Aggies down the stretch. The 1 seed looking like a regular season champ here at the break.
Any concerns about Utah State over the last 2 weeks of the season should be erased, especially after the last 8 minutes or so. Tyron Jones scrambles in transition, allowing MJ Collins to finish.
Let's go to Evan.
Mason, 14-2 run to close out the half. What fueled it?
We came here to get ours today. You know, they've kicked our butts 2 times, and, you know, I don't want to jinx anything, but we're ready for the fight. Whatever happens in the second half, we're going to go down fighting.
How have you guys held Gibbs Lawhorn in check?
Just being solid. You know, make him force tough shots, step back, fade away to mid-range. Don't let him get into the shots he likes.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
I'm shocked he still has that energy. I mean, he's been leaving it out there. We are at halftime. 37-23, Utah State leads UNLV. After these messages, AT&T at the half. It's Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Back in the desert, halftime. Utah State all over UNLV, 37-23. Points off turnovers, 15-zip. Mason Falslev with game highs in scoring and rebounding. A 14-2 run to close the stanza. John Sadak, Dan Dickow. Dan, what did you see in that first half?
Well, the first 7-8 minutes or so, both teams were kind of feeling each other out. There were a lot of turnovers, but then the last 12 minutes or so, it was vintage Utah State basketball.
And Mason Falslev right at the heart of all of it.
Exactly right, John. He was spectacular. 17 points, 7 of 8 from the field. He did it in so many different ways. He was the screener, became the roller to a finish. The recipient of a baseline out of bounds screen to score, and then push comes to shove. Shot clock winding down, a stare down 3 from straight away.
Player of the year getting far better of the newcomer of the year, at least through the first half. We still have a half to come in terms of possible adjustments. Let's go to Evan, who had word with Josh Pastner.
Yeah, a few words, John. For Josh, it's about getting into the paint. He says they have a goal of about 70% paint touches. They were below 50%. Now, this is where we're going to need my All-American point guard to help us out here. He wants more ghost screens. Now, this does involve Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. They want to look for him to be the screener in this action against this defense for Utah State, as opposed to being sort of ball dominant, dribble heavy. So Dan, I ask you, more ghost screens, and that involves Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. What are we talking about here, man?
A ghost screen will be if Gibbs Lawhorn is the screener going into the pick and roll action. Before you even get to the point of the screen with contact, you quickly get out of it to create space. So now he can catch it as a pop guy with the defender closing out at him. It's a great way to get a score an opportunity with the defender closing out.
It's almost like you show the screen and then you don't do it.
Yeah, the terminology constantly changes in the game of basketball. It used to be called a slip, but many times people think that's going to the rim. A ghost is more to space on the perimeter.
But Arby gets a paint bucket. Well, the first half for UNLV, its second lowest scoring of the season. The only worst effort came in late January. It turned out to be a lopsided loss to New Mexico. Collins fouled en route. That'll be Gibbs Lawhorn with his first. So Scooby and the gang are looking for the ghosts. And this Utah State team had such life, and I thought the words of Mason Falslev, you could tell this Utah State team had UNLV specifically circled.
Well, they were locked in, and that happens not just in the conference tournament, but also because you lost to them in the 2 regular season meetings.
Collins floats it up, rattles away. Walter Brown had 8 to pace UNLV. Kamali Hamilton had few touches. What did you see?
Well, I think UNLV, for the most part, was playing up against the shot clock in that first half. And a lot of times when that happens, you're relying on your guards to make opportunities with the clock winding down.
Gibbs Longhorn gives it away, right to Elamine. Whip it forward to Collins. Contested corner three. Got it! Making it two. Just a whisper inside the arc, but a tough shot. At some point, UNLV is going to need a flurry of baskets. But Arby slips by. Think he stepped there?
He may have got away with a travel, but Josh Passner told Evan they needed paint touches. That time, Fleming able to get 2 feet in the paint. Defense has to respect it and get out of rotation.
But wide open and airballed by Keller beyond Allen. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. This is game 1 today. We'll have Grand Canyon, Nevada next. That was an overtime finish, the only regular season matchup. The only higher seed to make it on, or worse seed, the 11 San Jose State bounced Boise State.
Well, Boise State had a really inconsistent season. After a triple overtime heartbreaking loss at San Diego State early, they lost 3 more in a row. They got it going and were playing as well as anybody down the stretch, but really didn't shoot the ball well at all last night against San Jose State.
Second foul on Drake Allen. Now, right at the heart of UNLV, when they're scoring 80 a game, is often Gibbs Longhorn getting to the line.
He's a tremendous 3-level scorer. He struggled tonight, but he can shoot it from beyond the arc. He can score in the mid-range, but you're right. He gets to the rim and he puts a ton of foul pressure on you.
Ball screen. Corner off the up fake. Fleming. End line. Tip pass taken away. Active hands for the Aggies. They've turned their agony to ecstasy on the cut. Allen and one. The team that had their number has no answer at this stage.
And this is what Utah State has looked like for the majority of the season. Yes, they've struggled the last 2 weeks or so, but deflections on the defensive end of the floor get you out of your rhythm, or it allows them to ignite their fast break. Falslev, the tip, MJ Collins, the attack, the finish from Drake Allen.
So now Allen at the line, the end one hits heel tip ball. Allen back to Falslev Aggie possession. Falslev right down the lane, misses the layup.
The easiest opportunity he's had all night.
Trying to fight through screens on a switch. Gibbs Longhorn is Templin. Kick corner. Hamilton puts it home.
Good finish there from Hamilton through contact. Templin, a nice job walling up, being vertical.
Rim glass it in.
Searching for a foul on that shot attempt. Didn't matter, went through anyways.
There is just swelling confidence for Utah State. And you can feel a bit of the force for UNLV, a foul here.
I like what Utah State did on this last possession as we take another look at Allen trying to draw the foul. Didn't matter, got it to drop anyways, but Utah State had Elamine at 6'9" on Gibbs Longhorn there. MJ Collins back in that matchup on this possession, but Utah State has the ability to switch and put Elamine just like now in the corner.
After he picked up his first, Allen trying to help out, tip ball by Elamine. Pass just barely finds Allen, right down the lane, left-handed jab. You can feel the Aggies. It's a tsunami of pull-away offense.
And again, it's Allen in transition. He is extremely opportunistic, but because Falslev's had such a great game, Howie Fleming has to shade to Falslev in the corner, opening up the drive attack.
Templin off the tumble, up fake. Shot miss, late whistle. And now Templin saying challenge.
I think he wants to take another look at it. Looked as if Templin got hit in the face on that trigger, the baseline out of bounds. Get another look here.
Oh, an elbow right to the face.
Yeah.
Aaron Calhoun just strode out to midcourt and showed a chicken wing of the elbow and said, look at that for a flagrant foul.
That should be looked at. I would imagine something is called there. Great restraint there from Templin
He played
to not
before
respond.
The foul is under review for a potential flagrant foul.
Templin had every opportunity there when he got airborne to return the favor to Hamilton, and Calhoun pleads his case, has got the officials taking a closer look at it.
Well, you've often made the comp to Johnny Lawrence.
Yes.
Carson Templin.
We were talking about that before the game. He could have easily swept the leg on Kamani Hamilton after this first initial blow across the chin.
Strike first, no mercy. Defeat does not exist in this dojo. They're showing the replay on the big board. You can hear the animated reaction of the Aggie fans. Contact to the head and neck area, much less the face with an elbow, is a major point of emphasis.
It is. So they have to take a look at it, and they will deem whether it's an F1 or F2. In a situation like this, I could see it being called either way, but in a game like this, I don't think they'll elevate it to an F2, which would be an ejection.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of intense physical play, but that certainly the most square physical moment of the game so far. And you hit on the major point, the differentiation there between a 1 or a 2. But do you feel confident it is a flagrant foul?
I do feel confident it's a flagrant foul. The fact that it was above the shoulders means they have to take a look at it, but it is excessive in nature. I don't think it falls down to a 2 where it's severe and extreme.
Well, the officials are peeling off to the huddles. Here's word.
After review, the play has been upgraded to a flagrant 1. The common foul on 22 stays. UNLV will shoot 2 free throws, followed by Utah State 2 free throws, and then it will be Utah State's ball on the baseline, 30 seconds.
So there is a foul to Templin as his 3rd, but also the upgrade on that contact coming from Kamani Hamilton.
I think that's a really good piece of officiating by this crew. And we've touched on it throughout the first half and early here in the second. It has been a very physical game. There have not been a lot of fouls that have been whistled, but a good job there by the officials keeping everything in check.
Hamilton, a 74% shooter, picked up his 2nd foul with that flagrant. He's shooting for the Templin infraction. And those two have been jawing at each other a little bit. You know, there was one baseline entry midway through the first half. The officials had to step in and separate them before they could get entry.
Well, Templin plays with an edge, and he can get under your skin in a hurry. He has grown into being not just an emotional leader, but a vocal leader for this Utah State team over the last 3 years.
Jared Calhoun says he might be their best recruiter. When they get somebody on campus, he is the man they have showing everybody around.
Well, great coaches understand they can only recruit so much. Then it becomes a matter of their players and the culture that they provide when the coaches aren't around. And you're exactly right. He said Templin is that guy.
Well, Templin, who's scoring his spike significantly in an old school way, in an era where players volley program to program. He's been at Utah State the whole time, 2.5 points a game as a freshman, 7.5 as a sophomore, nearly 10 a game now as the 6th man of the year and a junior. And that gives Utah State the biggest lead of the game.
And I know the transfer portal is about to start here in the next couple weeks, but I think more players need to look at evolution of players like Templin, players that stay in a program for multiple years, have an understanding of what's expected of them, and following a player development program to allow them to have a successful career.
Foul right at midcourt. Gibbs Lawhorn's got 3. By the way, clarification from lead official Tommy Nunez. Officially an appeal, not a challenge. Asking for that review. So Josh Pastner sees his team facing its most significant deficit of the day.
UNLV's got the scoring power, especially with Gibbs Lawhorn, who can get hot in a hurry. You're down 17. You're not overly concerned. Yeah, you want to play better, more efficient on the offensive end of the floor, but you've got a roster that can get back in this.
Nice block by Brown. Gibbs Lawhorn. Down the heart of the floor. Tough high kiss, Nick. It's only his 2nd made bucket of the game.
That may be the scoring opportunity that gets him going high off the glass.
Elamine for 3. Already had one heat check moment. Hamilton's been eerily quiet. Fleming hesitant to shoot. Against Elamine, leaning into the big, barely held the pivot. Jones puts it on the deck, into a double. That's going to be another foul. Templin was that primary man. Foul to Elamine, his third. We'll step away. Utah State stepping up. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Back here in Las Vegas, 47-32. Utah State the lead on UNLV. Let's revisit our AT&T fast analysis. What have you seen?
Well, I think Utah State does a tremendous job getting out in transition. They either push it with the pass or they advance with the dribble. But the best thing that they do in these situations is they make the team play. It doesn't always mean I get the score. It's we get the score.
They share the ball so well, 14 dimes on 19 buckets. Jared Calhoun has concocted a system that he has recruited to so brilliantly, and numbers like this happen a lot. Now, the officials are looking at this moment here, 2 or 3 from Collins. That toe is quite near the line. Trying to get a feel. What do you think, Dan?
That is right there from different angles. It all depends on how that toe box of the shoe pushes off on the shot.
It also shows you how hard it is to officiate.
Thankfully, I'm not an official. I've officiated enough games of my son's team's practices over the years, and the first thing I tell the kids is, I'm not a ref.
Remain 2 points.
So it stands, remains a 2. Well, the margin holds at 47-32. Foul before the step away to Elamine, his third. Tyron Jones, who has struggled at the stripe on the season. UNLV has missed 3 of 7 so far, including a front-end late stage of the first half. Let's go to Evan.
Yeah, John, you touched on it, how Jared Calhoun has kind of revamped this defense, recruited towards it. And we saw it in the fast analysis. It's really born out of deflections. They track it in every timeout. They don't have a magic number. He did drop 45 over the course of the game, but it's really about points off turnover. The goal is 20. They're already at 21 right now, fellas.
That's a great point. It's something that he said they recognized they needed to adjust going back about a year, and particularly wanted more size for more success in the tournament. False left tip, but stays with it and banks it home.
Sometimes you're the recipient of a lucky break. That time ball pops right back to Falslev, just flips it in. Utah State back in that matchup zone.
Fleming's been quiet since an early brief barrage. Gibbs Lawhorn, rainbow in and out. Emblematic of the day, saved by Jones. Brown wants it on the wing, but a whistle and foul on the floor. That'll be Elamine with his 4th.
Falslev not able to convert the alley-oop, but it doesn't matter. It's his night. He's the conference player of the year. You should expect some breaks to go your way.
So Elamine with 4 fouls all since halftime. That means more time for Zach Keller and Gary Clark. These are the foul concerns. Only men with 4 so far. Nearly stripped. Saved against Lawhorn. Banker miss. This is deeper rotation now for Utah State.
With Elamine picking up that 4, Tucker Anderson another opportunity.
To what extent are you managing minutes when you have a big lead for future games? 3 ball for Anderson is good.
Well, everything's clicking on the offensive end of the floor now for Utah State, but it's really a matter of I think how you're playing, understanding right now, you're up 19. You want to keep the same flow on the offensive end of the floor that you've had as Hamilton knocks down the three. You don't want to, I don't think you want to worry too much about making sure you're limiting guys' minutes, but making sure you're playing with the same pace with each rotation you have.
Perryman lost it in a sea of black jerseys. No look, quick load, Fleming for three. Long board, Fosslett behind the back. Oh, great lead pass, bobbled briefly, reset. And the bounce kick ball.
Well, one of the things that's allowed Utah State to really extend this lead, going back to 8 minutes or so left in that first half, a terrific skip pass to the three, is the fact they haven't turned it over. 0 turnovers here in the second half. They haven't had a turnover since about the 12-minute mark in the first half.
Protecting the basketball. Colby King driving on Brown. Kick corner. Perryman off target. Jones the board. UNLV rallied from down 14 to win in Logan. The only home loss suffered by the Aggies on the year. They need a big rally here. Jones miss. Down the lane, Euro. Into the corner, Anderson wanted it. Weak side miss. Fosslett sprawling. There's the effort of the player of the year. King, crafty.
But it all goes back to the player of the year, the sacrifice, the willingness to dive on the floor for a loose ball. He's motioned into the bench, saying he needs a sub. Curious if that tailbone back that he landed on in that first half is giving him some issues.
Hamilton had a triple a few possessions ago. Bought at by Fosslett. Pops a three. Got it. Can he get going?
Back-to-back threes now for Hamilton. Such a unique talent. 6'9", able to step out, shoot from beyond the arc.
He is the first Rebel to double figures. Fosslett calling for a screener, and Anderson instead on the drive, tumbles under heavy contact. There are bodies down on the deck. And now some shoving. And you can feel the intensity.
Utah State coaches making sure not a single Aggie steps onto the court.
And Gibbs Lawhorn trying to help some of his teammates, including Jones, get away from the fray.
Yeah, he stumbled and then he gave him a little extra push before standing above him. Utah State players getting in front of Fosslett so that nothing extra can happen, but then it looks as if Hamilton started jawing at the Utah State bench.
And Josh Pastner is irate. He has assistants now helping to escort him back from midcourt. One of his assistants grabbed Hamilton in the wake of the back and forth. Trying to use that as a teaching moment. You can feel the fire with this large margin. After the shove by Hamilton, he went right toward the Utah State bench, strode toward it and talked to them.
Yeah, go to the first call.
Our officiating crew trying to make sure they grab hold here.
Okay.
Tommy Nunez, our lead referee, checking in with Jason Phillips.
Call on the floor, double technical fouls. Number 11, Utah State. Number 2, UNLV. That play is under review.
So text on Gary Clark of Utah State and Kamani Hamilton of UNLV will step aside. Tensions flaring here in the quarterfinals. So just moments ago announced Kamani Hamilton assists 2 different fouls, a common foul initially, and then double technicals went against Hamilton and Clark. So that means there are 4 fouls on Hamilton. He is not ejected even though he had a flagrant. You would have to have 2 technicals, a flagrant 2, or 5 total fouls to be tossed.
Either way, he's got to keep his cool much better than he has here in the second half. He's hit back-to-back threes. He has the ability to be a problem in Utah State's thorn and get UNLV back in this game. But that's one of the things that has been talked about at this UNLV team. They're extremely talented, but at times they can get overly emotional, and you're starting to see that come out.
Well, remember, UNLV is the 5th most whistle team in the country. Hamilton individually, top 10 in total fouls entering this tournament. No man in America has been ejected more than Kamani Hamilton. 12 DQs on the year. The next closest entering this tournament had 10.
Yeah, that's not a category you want to lead nationally in. Matter of fact, you don't even want to lead your league or team in that category, especially when you can impact the game the way that Kamani Hamilton does.
That said, they're down so much, he's got to play, right?
Yeah. You got to find anything right now to give the Running Rebels a spark.
Different defense here.
They're back in man switching this time, though.
7 to shoot. Perryman off the fake. Overplay for a steal. Gave it away. Fleming misses. Jones Hill-timed lead. Tumbles foul. And I got to think we'll see some quicker whistles. Let's go to Evan. Foul to Clark, number 2.
I agree with that point, John, that I think we are going to see some quicker whistles over this next couple minutes, just to let the emotion subside just a little bit.
And yet again, it's Jones at the line. You know, of all the luck for both him and his team. Young man who has tremendous ability, hails from Las Vegas. He's a 12-point-a-game scorer, but probably the biggest weak point of his all-around game is his free throw shooting.
Well, the fact he's a freshman, there's a lot of upside in Tyrone Jones's game.
So now, rampant confusion. Was it 2 shots or 1 and 1? Utah State was convinced it was 1 and 1. UNLV collectively thought it was 2 shots.
I thought it was 1-on-1. It looked as if Jones was fouled corralling the offensive rebound. It didn't look like it was a clear catch and finish all in one motion.
And it was a 1 and 1, so dead ball. Utah State will inbound. The Aggies just keep pouring it on. Falslev on the bench right now. You wonder if and when he would return, especially if the lead balloons. In and out. Jones on the run. UNLV needs points in bunches and a hurry. Hamilton playing with 4 fouls, gets swarmed. Opposite to Jones. And line drive, two-head jam. Oh, the dunk of the game.
Wow. One dribble from that deep baseline corner before the elevation. Jared Calhoun wants to talk about it. We want to see it again, that's for sure.
He calls timeout. He's going to sub Falslev in here.
Attack the rim, young man. Tyron Jones, the freshman. Eye level at the rim. UNLV making a run.
Some of the fire being felt here. Game 1 of the quarterfinals. Our game summary brought to you by AT&T. 21 zip in points off turnovers.
That is dominance in a certain category. But really what it comes down to is Utah State playing the way that Jared Calhoun told us the other day. They're at their best. Getting deflections, getting out in transition, it's culminated in that advantage.
Now, we did get some clarity on the uncertainty of 2 shots or 1 and 1 of the free throws before the break. One official did accidentally say 2 shots. It was a 1 and 1. By rule, it went to the arrow. That's why Utah State had the ball. So it will be Utah State possession here. And Mason Falslev is back in. He's going to be the trigger man. It looks like several regulars are back in. MJ Collins has returned as well. The lead now at 13. It has not been single digits since 2 to go in the first when it was 30-21. Templin rejected by Brown and foul. That'll be his second.
Because Falslev has scored the ball the way he has tonight, he creates so much attention in that pick and roll. Templin is open on that roll. Brown just not able to get in position to square it up and contest.
Templin was sub 60 last year, 64% this year. Misses the first. Let's go to Evan.
Yeah, John, sorry to leave you hanging earlier, but dramatic pause here for Mason Falslev. We touched on it earlier. He's sore, he's banged up, and not after that shove, even prior to it, he was gingerly walking, a bit of a limp, noticeable limp, and it's that left leg where he's got the sleeve and that extra pad on that knee. That's where that soreness exists. So obviously they'd love to extend this lead and give him an extended break, but back in there because of the urgency of the moment.
Appreciate that, and that's certainly something to circle throughout this tournament, and they're big dance bound, just a matter more of seeding an opponent. Brown twisting fall away, rims away. And a foul. There's a lot of time to go, and the margin is not as significant as it feels.
Oh, UNLV's right there. A couple good possessions on the offensive end of the floor, a few stops. After Utah State had that long stretch taking care of the basketball, they've turned it over here a couple times in recent possessions. But when you're trailing, you have to make sure you are dominant on the offensive glass and not allowing your opponent second chance opportunities.
18 fouls on each side. The last one to Fleming is second, so the limited 1-and-1s coming here. Gary Clark just over 50%. He's one of the worst for Utah State. And he misses the clamp to UNLV. So the Aggies haven't hit a field goal in almost 3 minutes. The window is there. Can UNLV get some scores? Jump give to Brown. Just barely caught it. Bad pass bounces into the Rebel bench.
The right idea, though, when you're getting trapped or you're attacking the zone, try to get someone in the middle of the floor as a pressure release. Brown just not able to deliver it.
Remember the key stat in this game, points off turnovers, 21-0 Aggies. Do they get points here? Allen to Falslev, loads for three, in and out. Long board, tracked down by Hamilton. Gibbs Lawhorn, transition triple, nobody picked him up, and he drops it down.
You have to find him, of all guys in defensive transition. A walk-up three for Gibbs Lawhorn cuts it to 11.
First made triple, only his third made bucket. He can go on a heater, top scorer in the Mountain West. Templin off the up fake. Floats it up short to his teammate on the seal, and one! Gary Clark!
Not sure if it was a pass or a shot short, but either way, Templin's going to try to claim an assist there, but a terrific job from Clark, working underneath the rim, not being denied on the block out. He'll be at the line to turn it into a three-point play.
And the foul goes on Kamani Hamilton, so he has fouled out with 9:22 to go. They've been playing a 7-man rotation for the last few weeks, and now they're without their second leading scorer.
I think that's going to make UNLV switch to a 4-guard attack and really look for ball screen opportunities for Gibbs Lawhorn. Tyron Jones probably will be the primary ball screen setter, but you got to space the floor and be decisive on every catch.
So here comes UNLV. Isaac Williamson fresh to the fray. Young man was solid against Wyoming in the first round yesterday at a touch foul in space. Drake Allen will get his third.
I don't think Drake Allen gets enough credit for what he does for this Utah State team. Doesn't score a whole heck of a lot, 8 points per game on the year. Defensively with his length, he creates a lot of problems, whether it's a point guard, whether it's a wing. And then the fact that he's a terrific playmaker, nearly 5 assists per game, 2.3 assists to turnovers on the season.
Last of the 1-and-1s, a miss by an 80% shooter. It's 9 fouls each team, double bonus rest of the way. There's a lot of time to go here, Dan. And a whistle, off ball, send it the other way, and go on to Utah State.
Those are the kind of fouls that you gotta stay away from if you're trying to extend this lead, put it away, and allow some of your guys like Falslev some rest leading into the semis. Gary Clark, that's inexcusable.
That's his third. Gibbs Lawhorn on a switch, briefly had Clark. UNLV spread on the floor. Williamson behind the Jones screen. Collins has him. Gibbs Lawhorn sprints to the ball. 10 to shoot. Kick corner, quick load, Brown for three. Got it! Snapped wide. UNLV hanging around, hanging around.
That they are. Just when you think they're going to give in, Utah State turns it over, resulting in a three for UNLV.
Lob to Templin, great pass. Drop step, fade, foul. Man, they're playing hard down low.
And they are. Mentioned that Gibbs Longhorn going to be in a lot of pick and roll situations. This time, just a simple driven drive. Falslev over helps Brown, the knockdown three.
So now Templin to the stripe. He's had 5 and 4 in his 14 minutes. Converts. Make sure to tune in to the 2026 Reese's College All-Star Game, April 3rd, live at 3:30 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network. This is one of my favorite times of the year, Dan. Bracket week is here. The big dance is on the horizon. The weather's getting warmer. It's been picturesque here at Vegas, and the basketball has been fun.
It doesn't get much better. And then you run right into the Masters. If you're a golf fan, there's nothing better than the Masters, but got to stay in the moment, whether you're an analyst or you're a player, because there are some great opportunities in front of you.
Tyron Jones against Templin. Double comes from Allen. Gibbs Lawhorn fade. Perfectly timed. And we'll get a whistle and a timeout. So UNLV with a timeout. They'll only have one left. Able to hang and hit the top scorer in the Mountain West. It's bracket week, presented by Kubota.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
That's our ride to and from the hotel. If you love people watching, if you love seeing some cool architecture, check out Vegas. Our game reset. Arrow favors UNLV. Rebels just called a surprising timeout. Now have one left. We're dead ball meant to media.
They burned 2 in the first half in similar situations that caught me off guard as well as you. But, you know, the only thing I could think of is 8 minutes left. You got some guys that are gassed. Let's get them a break. Let's get reorganized. They did come back with a three-quarter court trap. See if that impacts the game at all.
Collins snaps a three.
It impacted in the negative way. Utah State, the knockdown three after breaking the pressure.
When Josh Pastner was at Georgia Tech, his best run came with an ACC tournament title. That zone, he called a big part of it. Off the fake, Brown, off iron, Collins. How deliberate can Utah State be selectively?
Well, they're still going to look to run in transition when they force turnovers or they've got a great advantage off of a rebound. But I don't expect them to play fast in the half court. It doesn't mean run up against the shot clock, but it means get the ball in guys' hands like Mason Falslev, let him make decisions.
Templin fouled. What a great look. I mean, Falslev really does a bit of everything.
He does. I mean, that situation there, nothing in the pick and roll, doesn't force it, recognizes Templin's got a defender on the high side, throws it to only where Templin can catch it. Another look at that press break. Get the ball to the middle of the floor, compress the defense, skip it to the weak side, knock down three.
Collins in the 2 regular season meetings combined for 18 points. He has dropped 16 and counting in this conference tournament affair.
Well, there was a time early in Mountain West play, a lot of people were talking about him as potentially being the player of the year in the conference. A lot of that was due to his scoring prowess. He's cooled off a little bit as of late, but If they're going to win the Mountain West tourney, make an NCAA tournament run, I would expect him to be a big part of it.
Oh, nice no look, but what a poke by Templin. Knocks it free. Falslev on the run. Hounded by Gibbs Lawhorn. Banker missed. Templin weak side just crashes in and gets fouled. He is bringing fire.
We've talked about how hard Falslev plays. You can say the exact same thing about Templin. He was in the mix on one end of the floor, sprinted down the floor, got an extra opportunity by getting that offensive rebound.
Foul goes to Fleming, so he's got 4. Hamilton is already fouled out. Front end is no good. And take a look at the full activity. This is game 1. We still have Grand Canyon and Nevada to come at a 4-5 affair, their second meeting of the season. Grand Canyon was down a couple of regulars in that narrow loss in overtime to the Wolfpack in the regular year.
Missing 2 starters, that's going to be a terrific 4-5 matchup. Grand Canyon, the newcomer to the league, has surprised a lot of people.
They've won 9 straight conference tournament games going back to their WAC days. UNLV in dire need of scores. We've been feeling that for a long time. You know, these teams traded blows in the early stage, but Josh Pastner saw the pull away from Utah State to end the first half.
And that's where the loss of Hamilton really comes into play. A flagrant one, a technical foul. He's a player who can score on the low block. Stepped out and hit a couple threes early in the second half to make it interesting.
Oh, athletic take, but Jones couldn't finish. Falslev's got it. That's where another birthday a little stronger for him. You see him go to another level.
Tyron Jones?
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's got tremendous upside. The Las Vegas native. You know, Josh Pastner made the comment, being a feather in the first half. You get in the weight room over the course of an offseason, I think you're going to see a big jump in his game.
We'll get a sub for the Rebels. Benarby is in for Josh Pastner. He goes notably bigger as the 6-footer Isaac Williamson subs away. So after that kickball, some laminated signs held up by Pastner dictating what he wants defensively here.
A lot of that's due to the fact that you're late in the season. You played last night, you might feel like you're losing your voice. That's why we've got T over here. A great staff has set us up, so we're good. 2 games in.
Oh, what a take by Falslev, and one! Allen fed him, and he gobbles it up with a chance for a 3-point play.
Plays hard, plays through contact, is skilled enough to make a big-time finish. Utah State bench loves it as well.
His 9th 20-point game of the year.
Again, he's so versatile. He can handle it. That time, again, he's the screener in pick-and-roll actions. Weak side is late to react. He'll be at the line to make it a 3-point play.
Benarby with his first. Falslev's career high is 28. He's got 22. The final Mountain West tournament for Utah State, trying to become the first back-to-back tournament kings since they turned the trick in both 19 and 20. Gibbs Lawhorn, great no-look. Jones rejected by Templin and sent down to the hard one. College transition for 3. No. Rebound Brown, poked out of bounds. UNLV ball. And time is ticking on the Rebels here.
It really is. They got get a great possession here, but Templin is just relentless in his effort. Jones lost it a little bit as he went up, but don't take anything away from Templin's reaction to come up with a block shot.
UNLV hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. A mini 7-0 surge for the Aggies. And the catbird seat most of the year in the Mountain West and here today. Gets Lawhorn taken away by Allen. Lob ahead. Tucker Anderson rejected. Fouled by Fleming, who was fouled out with 5:08 to go.
But what sparked that transition opportunity? Another deflection. That time, Drake Allen gets it to Tucker Anderson. He was timing his steps to pop it on Fleming Jr., who gets called for the foul.
4 of Fleming's 5 fouls came since the break. There have been 9 Utah State steals in this game. Now it's Anderson at the line.
That's one of the things that Utah State in that zone does such a good job of masking pressure. Sometimes they'll be right up ball pressure. Sometimes they gap it a little bit where you're a little bit more comfortable. But if you don't deliver that pass with precision, their anticipation allows them to get a hand on it.
Is this a better Aggies team than last year's Mountain West Tournament champs?
Yeah, it's so tough to compare these two teams, but I think they might be. You know, the fact is you get tested in this conference. They've got 5 losses, which is more than a season ago. But you've got a better version of Falslip. I think MJ Collins has been a terrific addition. Templin's really improved, as has Drake Allen. I would not be surprised to see this Utah State team win a game or two in the NCAA tournament.
Tyron Jones. Templin picks him up. Barely holding that pivot. And it's Templin again, but a foul as he hit Benarbi. So Templin's got 4. And away for UNLV, if there's any window, they've probably got to get to the line and stop the clock some.
Well, you need early, quick opportunities. And you would imagine that comes from Gibbs Lawhorn pushing in transition, whether create something for himself or put the defense in rotation to find other guys. But if you don't get that quickly, yes, find ways to get fouled, get to the line where you can stop the clock. The other thing it allows you to do is if you make the second free throw, you can set up full court pressure.
UNLV, though, has missed 7 of 12 at the line. That includes the front end of a 1-and-1.
That's been an Achilles heel throughout the year for UNLV, under 70% from the free throw line.
Benarbi rattles in the second. Templin getting a breather. Anderson, hounded by Brown. Wrap around. Baker. Clark puts it home. There's just a brutal efficiency to what Utah State can do.
Again, they do such a good job spacing the floor. They play out of concepts on the offensive end of the floor. And, you know, they're better defensively than they probably get credit for.
And I think what also is showing in these last few possessions, UNLV looks like they're out of gas. And they've had 2 guys foul out.
Well, they've really trimmed down their rotation over the last couple weeks of the season. And then yesterday, it's difficult to have a quick turnaround and play the first game on quarterfinal day.
An RB takeaway. Gibbs Lawhorn with struggled shooting. Knocked free by Allen. Williamson on the spin. Allen takes it away. Follow forward, a false slip. Down the heart of the lane. Rejected by Gibbs Lawhorn. Crashes into the support and then gets bumped by Falslip and goes right at him and jaws at him. And those sparks from earlier are flaring once more. Falslip took exception to that foul in transition.
Emotions are running high. UNLV frustrating, and a lot of the frustration is due to Mason Falslip putting together a phenomenal effort.
Utah State by a game-high 19. This is how we left you. Mason Falslip on the run. There's no foul on this play. Looked pretty clean.
It was a clean block for sure from Gibbs Lawhorn. Credit him for not giving up on the play, but Mason Falslip probably thought he had a clear line to that finish. Had some words. Gibbs Lawhorn returned the favor a little bit. Emotions have definitely been running high throughout this quarterfinal matchup.
But while we were away, this duo assessed double technicals. It's the second double technical we've had. 4 fouls on Falslip. Or excuse me, 1 on Falslip. It's the 4th on Gibbs Lawhorn. I think our officiating crew has done an excellent job of maintaining some sense of sanity out there.
They really have. And the hard thing to believe, though, is Falslip 1 foul with as hard as he plays.
Out of the wing, Collins off the fake, cuts to the cup. Whistle. Under 4 and the 1 seed, boat racing UNLV here in the second.
It's just good fundamental basketball. Closeouts attacking you, shot fake, direct line drive to the rim. Get into the body of the shot blocker, create the contact. The result, you get 2 free throws.
Foul to Brown, his third. Coming up next, join our college basketball experts in studio. They'll talk all things conference tournaments, highlights of top plays, and unmatched insights. Bracket week continues here on CBS Sports Network. Several one seeds have already fallen across the country. Selection Sunday got a lot more interesting with activity today.
And all the talk about the tournament expanding has kind of gone by the wayside in regards to all the bubble teams that could have a good point of contention.
Air ball, UNLV has not hit a field goal in 4.5 minutes. It's an 11-1 Utah State run over a 4+ minute span. And I think we're going to get a review here. Josh Pastner seemed to go over to Chad Barlow. And they're going to the monitor. We've had a lot of monitor reviews in this game as well.
Call on the floor is white ball. That play is under review.
Oh, was that tipped?
I don't think it was. If you want to know if a ball is tipped, whether on a shot or a pass, is watch the rotation of the ball. Does it change? I don't think he got that.
I think he might have grazed it. I mean, that backspin slows, and I think there's a slight wobble. I mean, if he did, it's by a whisper.
Yeah, but you're right. A number of reviews. I know we haven't called a lot of games together this year, John, but that's one of my points of contention is how many reviews and the length of time that they take. Yeah, you want to get the call right. But there should be a shot clock on the officials at the monitor, just like each team has 30 seconds to take a shot.
Well, they huddle up and talk it over. It was called an air ball and Utah State ball. And it looks like with this hand signal, I think it's going to get overturned.
After review, we have a successful challenge. The ball was tipped on the shot. It will be UNLV's basketball underneath. Shot clock will be at 19.
Well, there's no fight in this UNLV. There's no give up in this UNLV staff. Obviously, assistant coach Scott Garcon was right on top of it. You know, they're going to be playing to the final buzzer.
Taken away by Collins. Jams it home. Gibbs Lawhorn. Tyron Jones for three. Off target. On the stumble, maintains the dribble. Tyron Jones wants the ball. Gibbs Lawhorn. Swish. And we'll get the last timeout called by UNLV. That snaps a 6-0 run.
And this is where, if you're Jared Calhoun, you start thinking about, let's get Falslev out. I know there's only 3 minutes, 10 seconds left, but as hard as he's played, the amount of falls he's had, he's been dealing with some injury-type issues over the course of his long season. Can we sneak out 3 extra minutes of rest for him?
A 20-point margin. This Utah State team that got the bye into the quarterfinals. Can they get back into that championship seat? Last claimed it in 2020.
That's what you got to love about the Mountain West, though. The depth of good teams. There's only one repeat champion, and that's San Diego State. You look at this league, yes, clearly Utah State has been the best team over the course of the season, but everywhere from 2 through 7 had a legitimate opportunity to win this tournament coming in. They've been really good at different times. Now UNLV as the 8th seed, they look really good in coming back and beating Wyoming to get to this point, but when you look at the talent level that they have, you would think they could be in the mix as well.
Now, Utah State, we already have firmly into the big dance CBS Sports Bracketology and pretty much every pundit nationally. But a run in this conference tournament could aid seeding. CBS Sports Bracketology says 8 seed right now. Jared Calhoun knows what the national experts are saying, and that's why he particularly wants a run in this tournament, not only to try to win, you want to win every game, obviously, but try to move that seed line, get in better position to make a deeper run in the NCAA tournament. False lip dump, Clark opposite Collins for three, inbound, and Harvey. Under 3 minutes, UNLV has gone cold, missing 6 of its last 7 from the field. Gibbs Lawhorn gives it away. Collins playing catch with Allen. Alley-oop taken away by Jones.
What a play from Jones.
3 ball. Williamson misses. Now, Falslev has been the best player in the game. Utah State has largely dominated the game, but the most electric single plays have probably come a few times from Tyron Jones.
They have. That steal was spectacular, but the baseline dunk that he had early in this second half brought this crowd to its feet. Not just the Runnin' Rebels fans, but also every other fan in this building.
Off a Falslev miss. Under 2 minutes. Falslev a shot at the double-double, but there are 5 at the table to sub. Falslev is a rebound shy. Utah State poised to go deep bench with under 2 minutes. Allen feeds Falslev. Banker. And we'll get a timeout for subs. Jared Calhoun wants to give high fives to some of his regulars. All the Aggie faithful that made the journey get loud, and I got a feeling their crowd's going to be even bigger tomorrow.
Semifinals at the Mountain West always provide tremendous crowd atmospheres. I don't expect that to be any different. It's driving distance from Logan to Las Vegas. You better pack your car up and get down here because the Aggies are rolling.
They have been to the big dance 3 straight years. They've been in 5 of the last 6 tournaments, trying to make it a program record 4 consecutive journeys to the NCAA tournament.
And one of the unique things about it is it doesn't matter who the head coach has been. Craig Smith, Ryan Odom, Danny Sprinkle, now Jared Calhoun. What they've built in Logan has been pretty spectacular. It'll be interesting to see how the adjustment to the new Pac-12 ends up for them, but they are going to be a force to reckon with in the future, I believe.
They were one of 8 to play in the first ever NCAA tournament back in 1939. So here's UNLV under 2 minutes. There's a Runnin' Rebels team that has poured in over 80 a game on the regular season. Gibbs Lawhorn for 3, got it. But they've been tamed dramatically by an all-around effort from Utah State. Jordy Barnes originally joined as a walk-on. They'll milk some clock. Colby King giving the 3. They dare him. Rattling. 40% shooter on the year. One of the few quasi-regulars out there right now. Under a minute. They've been down Hamilton and Fleming to foul out for several minutes. Oh, what a follow by Tyron Jones.
You mentioned it a minute ago. He's got the plays of the game. Add that one to his package.
The losing team, winning team champ has transferred from Logan to Las Vegas. Pointing at the scoreboard. UNLV was a riddle the Aggies could not solve in the regular season off the Euro miss. But the Aggies have turned their agony into pulverization, dominating from the late stage of the first half all the way through as they close in on the semifinals.
Well, you got the sense early on in that first half, as physical as it was, and how many turnovers that were occurring for both teams, that it was just going to take a matter of which team settled in first, and that was Utah State. And ever since they settled in, it has been the Mason Falslev show, and it's been the Carson Templin show, the MJ Collins show. It's been a terrific effort here this afternoon.
Trying to get to 80. Top scoring offense in the Mountain West, 8-0 on the board in their first conference tournament game this year. Timer off. UNLV made a run, won 7 of 10 entering today. But that surge is going to come to a close at the hands of the regular season champs. Foul by Keller is through. This is just game 1 of our quarterfinal action today. We'll have Grand Canyon and Nevada up next. That winner will take on Utah State. First free throw of the game for Gibbs Lawhorn.
That matchup will be unique because those two teams only played one time this year. Nevada finishing on an 8-0 run to force overtime before ultimately winning.
These teams met a week and a half ago. That was when UNLV on this floor blew out Utah State, their worst loss of the season. It's tough to beat a good team 3 times. It was impossible for UNLV today. Utah State, in convincing fashion, takes out the 8, UNLV by 20, 80-60.
A dominant second half in particular. A number of terrific performances from multiple Aggies, but none more so than the player of the year from the conference, Mason Falslip. When they needed a stop, when they needed a bucket, they turned to him.
So this is our first final today. UNLV, that tight win against Wyoming, falls in convincing fashion to Utah State. We'll have Grand Canyon and Nevada coming up. That winner will take on these Aggies. And still to come later tonight, San Diego State, Colorado State, New Mexico against the surprise entrant to the quarterfinals in San Jose State. Now we'll see how much chalk might hold today. Mason Falslip, the player of the year, did a bit of everything. His toughness, his shot making, his efficiency, and he seems to spearhead the tips and steals that Utah State used for a gaudy advantage in points off turnovers.
Well, they did such a great job of being in passing lanes, getting deflections, and that allowed them to get out and play a free-flowing style out in transition. Really, the difference of the game was the fact that UNLV could never get into a flow offensively.
Well, let's hear from the man himself, Evan Washburn, with Mason Falslip.
Mason, I'm glad we can take this conversation full circle. So 9 days ago in this building, you lose to UNLV by 27. Why was today different?
We were just ready for it. You know, we really wanted this win, and we were ready for it.
Physically, for you, I know you like to throw yourself around and make plays up and down the floor, but was this an even more taxing game on your body?
Yeah, no, UNLV is a physical team. You know, they crash hard, they push and shove you, so just, you know, we love that stuff. We're ready for it.
What's the recovery look like for you?
Ice bath, whatever I need to do, man. Ice bath, sleep, nap, whatever I need.
Let's spin this forward. It looks like you guys are securely in the NCAA tournament, but give us an idea of what the motivation is for this group when it comes to moving forward in this tournament.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think our team has a really special bond. You know, we really love and care for each other, and we only got a few games left, so we want to make the most of it.
Appreciate you, Mason. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Our final score, a 20-point finish. Falslip, even in interviews, intense. 80-60, Utah State. For Dan Dickow, Evan Washburn, and our entire crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now to our New York studio. It's inside college basketball. It's Utah State by 20.